So it was so overwhelming, so painful, that I couldn't keep control over myself, and I had to go through a long process of healing, grieving process, and I couldn't keep control over myself. So I know the whole idea of losing that person, from my life was totally, it was a kind of bolt from the blue. I was not able to keep control over myself. I won't eat food. I won't sleep. For the whole night I used to keep awake. So I remember the day very well. It was 12th of April. I lost my younger brother, who was really very close to me. I used to love him more than my life, anything else. He was very close to me and we were very close to each other. He would call me and he would tell everything to me. He used to share every small things with me, And the moment he went away from my life, it was a kind of bolt from blue. I was totally, shattered. My life, it seems that it has come to an end, and I was not able to keep control over my emotions. I remember those days very well, when I won't be able to eat anything. I won't be able to sleep for the whole night. I would used to keep awake. And then I started taking medicine. I started taking medicine for the sleep, because I need to have a kind of good sleep. So I was suggested to take medicine at night. I started taking medicine and it had a kind of toxicated effect on me. I would remain in a kind of oblivion state. I won't remember anything. In the morning, again, the same pain, the same type of, the grieving thing used to happen to me. So it was a very painful moment for me. I can't tell you that how much I was in pain. I really lost everything in my world. My world shattered. It has come to an end. It seemed that everything has been ripped off from me. I was totally engulfing into the darkness. Everything seems to be, nothing to me. Nothing has changed me. Nothing is going to give me solace, relief from pain. So this is very common type of grieving thing. It happens to everybody once who comes in contact with this kind of thing. When you lose someone very near and dear to you, you must have been feeling this kind of pain. It comes to everybody. So the thing is that how to come over it, how to deal with these kind of things, how to deal with this kind of pain it occurs to you, and you really want to come out of it. So first of all, let me tell you that this is something, it remains with you forever. It never leaves you. It remains with you forever. However hard you try, you will find that always you are involving yourself with the thought of that person, and that person would remain with you forever. He's not going to leave you. So sometimes I really think that, what people say that try to come out of it, just move on, get out of it. But it's not possible. It's not possible to come out of the feelings, the love, the affections which you have been fostering till now. So I remember that initial period was rather difficult for me, when I was not able to accept the whole thing. It was the period of denial. So somewhere I was reading that people, this grief process, people, they go through this process. There are 5 ages, 5 periods or 5 sections of grieving where people go through. But let me tell you my own experience, that first when I had to deal with this thing, I was totally, it was a kind of denial thing for me. I never accepted that this has happened to me, and I would keep myself busy thinking that this person has gone to some beautiful place where he is getting lot of happiness, lot of peace, and lot of solace, which he was not getting over here on this earth. So this thought would give me a kind of relief, and I would be happy. I would be happy thinking that, now spending time with lots of fairies, lots of angel surrounding, around him and surrounding him, and he would be in a very nice, heavenly pleasure. So this only thought would give me a kind of happiness. So I would, engulf myself intentionally in these kind of thought. So what happened that initially it was rather difficult for me to think about it, the problem which he was facing till the time of his, leaving this earth. So after that I just stopped thinking about it. I try to, think that, what are the things which are giving me pleasure and happiness. So as I told you, that started thinking good thing about him, that he must be in a very nice place and enjoying himself and all. One thing I really want to tell you, that people say when they come beside you to console you, to tell you that this is good for you and just get on and move away from this thing, I really feel very miserable, when people used to comfort me, because at that time your mind is not in a condition to accept anything. You cannot say that, you cannot accept anything good from them, even if they are your well-wisher, they are around you, they want to take you out from this kind of pain, but your mind, it never accepts anything. So it is better not to take their support or their advices, because you are totally indifferent at that time. So what I used to do, when people would come to me and they would tell me that it is it is very common, this thing happens to everybody, it is the God's rule, it is, nobody can do anything. So I would just get away from there. I don't want any kind of comfort words coming from them, because it is my own pain. And later on, over the time, I realized that this pain is only of mine. Nobody is going to share this pain with you, because when people come to console you, it is not their fault that they are consoling you, but it is, they are very much influenced by the society. They know that what to say at this condition when somebody is suffering from this kind of pain. They come to comfort you, they come to relieve you, they come to closer to you, because they themselves don't know how to console a person suffering from this kind of pain. So it is better not to be around them, even if you really want to comfort them, it is better just be beside them. You don't have to tell them all the things about the world and all the rules of the universe. Rather be beside them, so at least that person can find a kind of shoulder to let your emotion out whenever that person feeling bad. So in my case, same thing happened. If people would come to me and would tell me that this is the law of the universe and this happened to everybody and all, so I would not listen to them. So it rather increase, it would aggravate my pain. So I really prefer to be alone. And I realize over the time one thing, that pain is really, it is mine, it is my personal thing, and why should I let it go away from my heart? So I feel that if you really want to get away from it, don't adopt the the avoidance things. Don't try to avoid it. Initially it would give me a kind of restlessness, which whenever I used to see his photo and pictures, and I would delete all his videos from my phone and everything. But now I realize that I need to get into this feeling of losing that person, of losing him. I need to get into the feeling of losing him. This is the main cause, this is the root cause. So instead of getting away from this particular thought, instead of, adopting the way of resistance, try to get into this feeling of yours. Spend 10 to 20 minutes thinking about this person, his goodness, his positive sides, and try to adopt those things in your life. So when you do this, you find that your healing process has become very, very light, and it has become easy for you to accept the truth. So instead of running away from the truth, try to adopt it, try to be near to it. Because I have realized one thing, that your grief needs a kind of outlet, and it will only happen if you thrive with the thought of that person. Let the thought come to you, try to accept it, try to remain in that condition for some times, accepting the reality, and then you feel relaxed. Because then this this healing process, it's very slowly it happens. This healing process comes to everybody, but very slowly it gets to you. So it is not that overnight you can get over with the thought of that person, and one fine day you get up and say that, look, I have started looking at the bright side of the life, and now I'm not going to look back. So take this person along with you wherever you are going, whatever you are doing, be with that thought. You don't have to let that person go away from your life. People say that move ahead. It's okay. You don't have to move ahead leaving this person's thought and memory. Take it along with you, and you will feel fine, and you will find that every moment of your life becomes good, because now you have adopted the power of healing, and you have accepted the fact that according to that you are moving ahead. So this is my own experience, and now I feel little relaxed thinking about the fact that he is no more with me, but at least his feelings, his thoughts, his jokes, his positive vibes are always with me, guiding me in every way of life, whatever I do in my life. So it will give a kind of positivity to you, and you can come out with your bottle of emotions which till now you have been covered up, and you get a kind of outlet to come out with your feeling. Because people they think that if you're not talking about that person, if you're not coming to that zone where you remind that person again and again, it would be good for you. So whenever we talk about him, so everybody around me, they would say, okay, leave this topic, let's go to another zone, let's talk another thing. And I would also used to like it, because whenever I used to see his picture, so it would be a kind of pessimistic thing for me. So whenever I used to see his picture, I used to remain in that zone for a longer period, then it would take time to come out of it. So now I remember, now I understand that it's better to be in that zone and prepare yourself for whatever comes to you, because this is a hard fact and you need to accept this fact, and without accepting this fact you cannot move ahead. So that is better to be with this thought and let this thought come to you. I'm telling you, initially, when this thing happened to me, I started finding some way to to get myself involved with. So I started making videos, and it would really give me a kind of relief when I started making videos, because I just wanted to forget everything. So it is also a very good way of getting out of your pain, your grief. Just indulge yourself in some creative work which you find really good for you and which really gives you happiness. So I started mingling up, started creating videos, writing content, and indulging myself in making lots of videos, grammar video. I would study a lot, and I would keep myself busy from this thought of mine. But later on I realized one more thing, that it is a way of escapism also, that you are not letting the thought of is coming to your mind, and you are indulging in outer thing. So apart from doing your creative work, apart from being with your family, apart from loving those person who are around you, you can also love that person who has gone from your life. And that you can do by giving your thought a kind of base. Let this person come to your mind. Remember that person. The goodness of that person will remain with you forever. So at the same time, you are feeling a kind of blissful state would come into your life. And so I hope you like today's video. It's a short video, and it's my own feeling which I wanted to share with you. Thank you so much for being with me.